Hi, Dom.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Not too much. Another week, and this one we're bringing the heat, I guess.
You know it. I love
This
bringing
is
the heat.
this is your pick, so give that a whole intro.
This is my pick. The Heat, a 2013 buddy cop movie with the whole uniqueness being that it's a buddy cop gender swap movie, being two female cops. We have Sandra Bullock playing Sarah Ashbourne, FBI agent, and not just any FBI agent, but like tremendously efficient, hardworking FBI agent to the point where she's actually disliked by a lot of her
Yeah,
compatriots because she makes them look bad.
yeah, yeah. She's so good at what she does. Yeah,
She's been on the trail of a drug dealer and she tracks that person to Boston, where she meets Melissa McCarthy, who plays Detective Shannon Mullins, who, man, she does Boston so well. This whole movie did Boston so well.
it
And
did.
and these two are forced to team up, even though their personalities completely clash. But as is always the case with buddy cop movies, they resolve their differences, they catch the bad guy, and they end as friends.
Right, right. Um, yeah, and I have mixed feelings about this one. I will say that. I definitely have mixed feelings about it. I really like Melissa McCarthy. I think she's extremely funny.
Oh, she's hilarious.
Yeah, I think she can sometimes be a little bit much in some, and I think there were moments in this that she was a little much. And Sandra Bullock, I kind of almost feel the same way about. I like Sandra Bullock. I think she can be both funny and charming and the whole bit. Um, but she's been in some really good movies. She's been in some dogs. This movie is a mix for me. I think it's I think it's there's moments in this movie that made me laugh out loud. And there's also moments where I thought to myself, okay, even for a comedy, this is stretching it a little bit. So that was probably my biggest problem is some of the credibility of what they could and wouldn't do. I mean, Melissa McCarthy pulled her gun several times on people that it's like, okay, her career will be over. She's in the hospital and she pulled her gun on a nurse. And that was one of the moments that I was like, okay, that's too much. But for just, I'm bringing my criticisms out now
Oh,
because
yeah.
I did enjoy the movie. And so, like I said, I don't want to make it sound totally negative. So I want to bring those in the beginning so I can, because like I said, the scenes that I the scenes that I had a problem with were probably the that she's actually that's a weird shot there because it's like split shot, but that's her holding the gun and she actually points it at the nurse, which is where you can see it right behind me. Her point, and it's like you know I don't know. I grew up with gun safety. It's like you never point a gun at somebody unless you're going to kill them. So it's not a joke. It's you don't do it. And so there were problems that I had with things like that.
Yeah,
Like
but I mean, I don't hit random people over the head with clubs, but it's
right,
funny when the Three Stooges do it. It's
sure,
comedy.
sure. And so yeah, like I said, I there are scenes in this movie that were laugh out loud funny. And so for those criticisms, like I said, I'm getting them out of the way now because, like I said, for the most part, I really did enjoy this movie. And it's a fun movie. And it's a movie that if you're looking for a good, fun, light buddy movie, this is it. It's and you do have to suspend.
Oh, you totally do. I gotta say, if I have one main complaint about this movie,
Right.
it's that this movie is entirely predictable. This
Yeah.
This is a straight up buddy cop action comedy that does not stray from the script in any way,
No, no.
except for the gender part.
Right.
But it makes it the perfect summer movie. Like it's mindless entertainment.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a fun roller coaster ride. It's pure joy. You don't engage your brain too much with
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And well, I mean, like some of the some of the stuff that is like probably one of the funnier scenes, and one of the scenes I really enjoyed was the bar scene. And even though it's a little over the top, there's some very she gets through booze, which happens to sometimes do it for all of us. But she through a lot of booze, she gets Sandra Bullock to actually loosen up to the point where it's probably the most she's ever loosened up in her life, and that is probably one of the funnier scenes in the movie. But there's a lot of funny scenes in this movie, a lot of very very funny scenes. Um, but yeah, I definitely have to say, and it's an all star cast. That's the other thing.
Oh my
Um,
God, the cast is so packed with
yeah,
names. Incredible.
yeah. I mean, Marlon Wayans is in this. It's Michael Rappaport is in this. It's
Jane Curtin.
yeah. You know something? I didn't realize until I was watching the credits rolling afterwards that Jane Curtin's name came up, and I was like, "Wait a minute, Jane Curtin." And then I realized, oh my God, it was yeah. And when I finally realized it, but yeah, Jane Curtin is in this movie, so it's got quite a cast. Um, it's definitely a movie that if you're looking for a good fun watch, um, you want to go in with the idea you're going to be watching some silliness, because it definitely brings you silliness, but it's a lot of fun, and I definitely I have to say I recommend the movie. So
Yeah,
for
you've said this a number of times, but our feeling about a movie, our love for a movie is often as much about the what was going on in our life when we saw the movie as it is the movie itself.
yeah, yeah,
And this is, for me, this is one of those movies that caught me totally out of the blue. I don't know how I got access to this, um, but I was just looking for something to watch,
yeah,
and this happened to come up. And so I watched it, and I was amazed at how funny I thought it was.
yeah.
It's not a movie that if someone said, "Tell me what the greatest comedy is," I'm not going to name this movie.
No, no.
It's a pretty much standard summer comedy. It's light, it's uncomplicated, but when you're sideswiped by this movie out of the blue that you're not expecting anything from, and
Right.
it actually makes you laugh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
then it
Yeah.
makes an impression. And this movie made an impression on me.
Yeah, it definitely did. Like I said, when it's working on all gears, the movie's extremely funny, and to the point where, like I said, I watched this alone, just sitting in my place, and I found myself actually laughing out loud, and so there's definitely moments. And Melissa McCarthy, I became a fan of hers during watching Bridesmaids, which probably a lot of
Mhm.
people did. Um, I was amazed how she stole that movie out of all the people in that movie, and there were some funny, funny ladies in that movie, and out of all of them, she stole the whole movie. I mean, everything from that scene where she takes all the puppies out of they were giving puppies away at the wedding, and she's got them all in her car, and I mean, she just some of the stuff with her was so the stuff on the airplane was hysterical. I mean, just things she would come out with. I don't know how much it was ad libbing or not, but like I said, this movie has a lot of that same kind of
I think this is the first movie with Melissa McCarthy I ever saw And
Really.
wow, she blew me out of the water.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love her comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. She's definitely good. She's she's got the chops. A lot of times when you think of comedy and you think of, she's got almost an old time ability with comedy that I
Hmm.
haven't seen for many years, and that was one of the things that really made me impressed with her. But yeah,
I
she
don't
is.
know if you've ever seen her on Saturday Night Live, but
I have.
if I hear she's going to be on Saturday Night Live, I will watch that show. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do not miss a Saturday Night Live with Melissa McCarthy.
No, she's that funny. It's she's somebody that if you hear she's in a movie, it makes you want to check the movie out. That's how
Hmm.
good she is. And like I said, I look at her. She's got it reminds me a little bit of Chris Farley in the sense of she is not afraid of saying or doing something that other people would be afraid to do because they would be afraid that it would make them look bad or look funny or look, I mean, I'm not funny in a good way. um I mean, she's not afraid to make herself look you know uh, not exactly like the prettiest girl in the room or something like that. She'll do whatever she has
She
to bring a
pushes
laugh.
boundaries. I love that about her, but it's also her delivery. Like when she's in the police chief's office and talking about to him about his tiny little balls.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was hilarious. But
Yeah.
like I can't see Jane Curtin pulling that off. I can't see
No.
Sandra Bullock pulling that off. Melissa McCarthy's delivery of something that is that stupid. It's something that is, grade school humor,
Yeah.
but she just makes it funny.
Well, and even the way she was, because I was thinking to myself, well, at what point would a precinct captain actually say, like, okay, like that's it, you're out of here, you're fired, or something like that. But you could tell they actually had a relationship. I mean, because he respected her enough as a detective that he that when she was doing that stuff and when she was saying it, it was like, okay, all right, like that's enough. Like you pushed it, she was yelling out the door, like, has anyone seen the captain's balls? And but
and
uh, but no,
and
she's.
now that we're talking about that scene, do you recognize the captain?
I recognize the guy, but I can't. I actually I can't think of roles that I've seen him
So
in.
that
But
the actor is Tom Wilson, but that is Biff from Back to the Future.
okay, that's why he looked so. Yep. Okay. Yeah, no, I definitely knew he looked familiar, but I mean, there were so many familiar faces in this. Even just like, well, of course, Marlon Wayans, but Michael Rappaport too. I mean, that
You,
guy
you
is,
know, you watch this movie, there's a part of me that wants a sequel, a Heat 2. Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy have gone on record as saying they will never make a Heat 2.
oh, really?
They,
Yeah.
they, they've said that what we did was something beautiful, and we would love to be in a movie together again, but we don't want to basically sully the memory of this movie by cashing in on a sequel.
Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, it's probably a good idea. I don't know that, sometimes when you have a good movie and then Hollywood's like, oh, we got to make a sequel. It's like, no, you don't have to make a sequel.
Hmm.
If you've got a really good reason to do a sequel, um, when you look at something like a Deadpool, his character is such a repeatable character.
Right, right. The,
And
the movies are almost incidental to just
yeah,
watching Deadpool.
yeah. And so I definitely, with a comedy sequel, I definitely see him doing comedy sequels with Deadpool. But I when I hear about it, I really look forward to it. My feeling on this would be, are they going to be able to pull it off and make it as funny? And I would rather see the two of them team up in a different vehicle, something a completely different plot, and just give them another vehicle with a different plot.
No, I
And
think they're great together. You're right.
yeah, so I mean, you look at something like Martin and Lewis, which I never thought like Jerry Lewis was anywhere near as funny as he was when he was with Dean Martin. It just didn't work as well. Um, he had his perfect straight man there, and the comedy bits worked because it was the goofy against the good looking straight dude that was pulling off he was pulling off the serious guy and pulling the nut out of trouble. But and that's kind of what you got with Sandra Bullock, although it's kind of funny that she gets drawn in to some of the craziness, like um, this, and that's another scene where you sort of have to kind of suspend your belief there, but
There's
it
a
was,
lot of scenes. Like, I mean, look
yeah,
at the arsenal that was in Melissa McCarthy's apartment.
yeah,
Like,
which, yeah, yeah, I know she's got grenades and everything, which that was one of the funnier things was when she actually pulled that grenade. She was holding the pin in her hand. And again, it's you have to look at it as it's crazy humor, but hey, it definitely it worked for I would say it worked for the most part. There were a few scenes that I thought to myself, okay, this is a little much, but but again, different scenes like that bar scene really cracked me up. It was, and
but well, I would I'm totally on board with them not doing a sequel because
yeah,
it might cheapen the movie itself.
right.
I would love to see a movie around Melissa McCarthy's family, the
Oh
Mullins.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, these guys, I wish they had more screen time. They were hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, and actually it was almost like by pulling them into it, especially as many people as they had in there, um, as many different characters, you almost did think to yourself you wanted to know more about who and what they were. You know that one of them was in jail, had just recently got out of jail, and and then there was a bunch of them that were just crazy nuts, including one of the guys is dating the nutty girlfriend, and the mother is absolutely right off the top. Which, again, there's Jane Curtin, So like I said, I think it was just a really, you know, really fun movie. And yes, the you probably could see a sequel with just that family. Um,
Well, it's funny how many people have worked together before because this movie was written by Katie Dippold,
okay,
and she also wrote the screenplay for Spy and Ghostbusters and Bridesmaids,
okay, all right. Well,
all with Melissa McCarthy.
yeah, I was
The
gonna say,
director of this movie was Paul Feig or
yeah,
Paul Feig, I don't know how it's pronounced, who
yeah,
also directed Bridesmaids, Spy, and Ghostbusters.
yeah. I knew he had directed Bridesmaids. I wasn't really sure what other ones he had done, but I knew he did Bridesmaid, and I love Bridesmaids. I think it's absolutely crack up funny. There's so many good scenes in that movie. That one's hard to top. It's so good. It's like a perfect comedy, and it's for a for a chick comedy that is, you've got all these dude comedies that are like, uh, think of, like
Old
all
school
these different ones,
and
like,
Hall Pass.
yes, yeah, there's tons of different ones that where you've got dudes like behaving badly, crazy stuff going on, and but there's not as many effective female counterparts to that. And to me, Bridesmaids was the first one that actually it lived up to everything. I mean, there were people that criticized it and said, "Oh well, now now you've dragged woman down into the same, low life area that dudes are in. But I thought it was hilarious, and they pulled it off equally as well without actually looking like they were straining to do.
I completely agree. It was a buddy cop movie with two women, but they didn't capitalize on that. The fact that they were female, it was not stressed. It didn't play a huge role in the plot. Um, Neither one of them tried to look all that sexy or use feminine wiles. They were cops
Yeah,
and they did cop things, and it was
yeah,
great.
oh yeah, yeah. No, it was it was done very, very well. Like I said, the few criticisms that I do have of this movie are not enough to make me say that I didn't like it. I liked it a lot, and it's a repeat watch. It's definitely one that, you know if you were sitting there and you were trying to think of a good comedy movie to show somebody, especially if they wanted something that was a little on the crazy side, this is it. It's definitely it's up there with the best of the best of the wacky ones, whether you're talking about Step Brothers or whether you're talking about, Bridesmaids or whatever. It's
Mhm.
up there with those good ones, So
Katie Dipple, the screenwriter for this,
when you said that name, I did not know who that was, but
she was the screenwriter. She was the writer for Parks and Rec.
oh, okay, that
And
makes
so she was one of the main writers. She wrote the script for this movie, for The Heat, on the side. It was like a weekend project for her.
right, right. Wow, that's that's quite a that's actually quite an achievement, because I mean, it's pretty damn good script for a for writing that on the side.
She
And
was saying she was watching, I can't remember what the movie was, but it was a buddy cop movie with two guys. And she's like, there's this one scene where I think they're in Hawaii and they're riding scooters. And it's this montage of the two of them riding scooters together. And with every screen change, with every edit, it's a different girl on the back of the bike. So it's these two guys, and they've got all these chicks. And Katie Dipple was like, I don't want to be this girl on the back of the bike. I want to be the person riding the scooty and doing all these cool things.
yeah, yeah. Wow, wow. No, it's like I said, I like the fact that they pulled off the the buddy cop, that think of how many dudes have done it and done it effectively. And I mean, the Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg one, I can't even think of the name of it right
The
now,
other
but
guys
yes, the other guys.
love that
That
movie.
it's really funny. There's certain moments in that just, you know uh, again, laugh out loud funny. And I these two pull. This is another scene that was actually pretty darn funny, when they're holding that guy over and then they realize, well, we can't hold on to him. And it's like, at first it's like, oh yeah, it's just part of the scare tactic to get him to talk. And then it's like, no, no, I actually can't hold him. Um, but no, there's so many funny scenes. And these two is one of them is actually the villain, but these two are actually good as the bad guys in the movie. Uh, I thought those two did a good job. I thought there were some very hilarious scenes around them. So
Oh, I thought the albino thing was hilarious. That guy is not an albino.
no,
And
no.
I don't know whose idea it was to like, oh, let's make this guy an albino and tell all kinds of albino jokes.
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely hilarious. That and it reminded me of, they had that in Me, Myself, and Irene, when they had that guy and he kept calling him, what was he calling him? It was a really it was like, wasn't Whitey, it was some name like that, but he kept calling him by the name, of the guy's like, you know would you stop doing that, like, stop calling me. But it was absolutely hysterical. And the guy only had like maybe 3, 4 scenes in the whole movie, but it was a memorable part in the movie. So, but this was the same thing. Um, really well done, and some funny scenes that they were in.
There were so many cameos. So I don't know if you remember this scene. Yeah,
Um,
I'm pretty
yes,
sure
yeah,
Melissa
he
McCarthy
was
is
like the
drinking in a
X that came
bar.
up. Yep.
Yeah. Do you know who that guy is?
No.
That's
Uh,
Ben Falcone,
okay.
Melissa McCarthy's husband.
Oh, in real life, it's her husband, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
So he does cameos in a lot of her films. The director, Paul Feig, has a cameo as a doctor, an ER doctor
Huh.
in the movie. I tried my best to get a screenshot and I just could not find one.
Wow.
And the writer, Katie Dippold, has a cameo as an ER nurse
Oh, cool.
in
Cool.
this movie.
Yeah.
And I
Huh.
love seeing Caitlin Olsen.
Oh, is that her and the
No, that might be the writer. That might be
yeah,
Katie
that's what I was gonna
Dippold.
say, the writer, yeah.
But
Katie
Caitlin
Dipple.
Olsen that played the Russian woman,
Oh
Tatiana.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, and that was definitely a funny character too. That whole scene in the woman's apartment is hysterical. Everything about that scene.
I know.
But and even just their different approaches, because that was where they first started, like was the first scene where they're and the other thing that was really funny about that apartment building was Melissa McCarthy says, I live in this building, and it was like it was a joke. And then it's like she was like, Yo, you mean you actually do it? Because after they get out of the Russian woman's apartment, then she opens the door and they go in, and she's like, you mean you really do live here? And she's like, oh yeah, this is my place. And then she's asking her if she wanted what was it, a cheese sub or something? And she's like, it's a few days old, and she keeps trying to offer that sub throughout the movie. But no, like I said, there's a lot of like good running gags. There's um, definitely some definitely some cool appearances in this movie. So
This movie, the first scene where we get introduced to Melissa McCarthy's
oh,
character,
the hooker scene. Yep.
this is a riot,
Yeah.
absolute riot. I immediately fell in love with the movie as soon as I saw this
Oh
scene.
yeah. 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 When she gets a hold of his phone and she's
Give
calling,
me your phone.
yeah, yeah. Which, to tell you the truth, is probably the worst the worst fear that a dude probably has, is that, oh yeah, they're gonna and he's like, yeah, wait, my wife's pregnant, and I'm and it's like, yeah, really, you choose this time to go out and cheat on her. But no, that scene is hilarious. And I even love the way the hookers are standing on the side mocking him while the whole thing's going on. But
And that guy, there's another cameo. That guy from Arrested Development.
yes, yeah, yeah. No, I again, there's no shortage of cool, appearances in this movie. It's just one after the other.
Hmm.
And I like the way that they even chose certain people. Mullen Wayans, I mean, that was a nice little choice for, he played a small role, but it was a good role. So
Well, you know
one
where a lot of these people were from? Mad TV.
oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
Katie Dippold started off writing for Mad TV.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes definite sense for sure.
And this guy as a bad guy, Michael McDonald,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
who again, I am familiar with him as a comedian on Mad TV.
Right.
Seeing him as a ruthless killer is sheer genius.
Yeah, yeah. Because you would, I wouldn't normally pick him to to play a ruthless killer, but
No, but he was perfect.
yeah, no, absolutely. That was another funny scene, was the knife in the leg, and then And then
That was
she's,
one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
well, she says, I gotta put it back. And it's like, no, don't put it back. And she's like, oh, it's hard to find the same hole. It's like, really? Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of very hilarious scenes in this. And if you haven't seen this movie, just for our audience, this is definitely one, I would say check it out. I will give it. I'll go ahead right now and say it. I will give it two thumbs up. So
I, I will clearly give it two thumbs up. This is my choice with the caveat that, again, this is a summer movie. If you're looking for mindless fun,
yeah,
this is the movie for you. If you're
yeah,
looking for something that is complex and engaging, pass
yeah,
this one on by.
yeah. Well, and again, it's not, hey, the scene I just put up behind me. There's
Exactly.
definitely silly, stupid humor in it. There were a few things that, made me go, oh, geez, that, like it's far, and I give way more leeway in a comedy than I will if I'm watching a movie. I mean, I remember watching Gone in 60 Seconds, and I was the remake, not the original's great.
Mhm.
Um, but in the remake, there were so many scenes where I was thinking that, a car doesn't do that. There was a scene where there was a ledge in the building, and the car drove out, and it just like leaps through the window and careens onto the street. Does a 180 and goes barreling down the street. And I thought to myself, how did it get out without tearing the undercarriage off? You could clearly see the cars going over a ramp, and it's like they set up ramps. And I hate stuff like that in a movie that's not meant as a comedy.
Mhm.
This is a comedy, so I'll give this way more leeway. So
Yeah,
even though
there's a delicate balance all movies, all art forms need to keep
yeah,
with an audience's suspension of disbelief.
yes,
And the
yeah,
sillier the movie is aiming for, the more leeway you're going to give it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. If you try to do that, with a serious movie, with a movie that's not meant to be a comedy, um, I'll buy way more craziness in a comedy,
Hmm.
where if I see something that maybe doesn't make as much sense, I'll go, okay, it's a comedy. So with a comedy, you can kind of get away with it. But yeah, and I do like the fact that they both kind of worked on each other, because um, she did, to a certain degree, she got Melissa McCarthy to be a little bit more head on and serious about what they were doing. And the real thing was Melissa McCarthy got her to loosen up and actually not be such a tight ass, because that was her biggest problem, and it's what was holding her career back. Because as good of an FBI agent as she was, her fellow agents hated her because she was kind of an arrogant son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a team player, and that doesn't
Yeah,
mean that you kiss butt or you know
yeah,
you decrease your own skill to make other people's look better,
yeah.
but it also means like you get along with people.
Right. And she would deliberately go on to, as was pictured in the first scene, where she's going into, it's a drug house, and they're like, yeah, we couldn't find the drugs, and she walks around arrogantly and says, well, did you look here, and did you look there? And she's looking at certain areas where, yeah, the area right there where she finds the panel behind the wall. But yeah, it's obviously every guy in the room, every agent, I should say, in the room is standing there just like, gee, she's doing this again. So yeah, designed to make
Well,
everyone
no,
else look
I think you're
bad.
right about every guy because even the two they were arresting were like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it too, you're going from you're being somebody that's sitting in the room thinking to yourself, oh, they didn't find the drugs. And then she finds the drugs. And then on top of it, to make it way, way worse, that little gun cache that's behind her, that is enough to, even more so than the drugs. That's enough to have somebody do big time.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, um, the everyone in the room probably except her was feeling like, oh shit, she's doing it again. But
It's funny, like, you know, I don't know if the whole gender swap buddy cop thing is a real issue for certain people, but I'm looking on IMDb, and this movie currently has a rating of, let me see, what is it? It's 6.6 out of 10.
yeah, yeah,
You know, which I'd say that's a fair assessment. And I'd give it around a 7. It's not like it's not a 9 or a 10. It's not something for the ages, but it's certainly better than average.
yeah.
But
Well,
I saw some people, I
yeah, go
saw
ahead.
people giving this like a 1 and 2 star review, and I'm like, I'm not sure you've ever seen a 1 and 2 star movie.
Yeah, well, I have,
Right. I've
and
seen a lot of them, and this is not it.
yeah, I mean, I'm probably a lot more forgiving in many ways than you are probably when it comes to
Yeah.
like a because there's things that will make me enjoy a movie sometimes that other people maybe would go, okay, I didn't like that, and I'd be like, well, I did because I thought, and I'll bring up something that's positive about it, but or something that drew me in, but when it comes to like a 1 or 2 star movie, I have seen, there's only a real handful of movies that I actually will put in those categories. And they're usually movies that are atrociously bad for a specific reason. Either
Mm.
they bored me to death, or the plot line was inane, and and just like I was like, yeah, I can't go with this. So I have to like really have something that really to make me say 1 2 stars. I mean, usually there's something in a movie that will make me say, okay, well, it wasn't a total waste of time.
This is an idea for a future video because
Sure.
I've literally seen movies that I would say these are 1 or 2 star movies. I've
Yeah.
seen most of them on Tubi.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
I
def
don't know that a lot of people have like we comb the internet, the world, the sphere of entertainment. We comb it for movies. And so I don't know about you, but I sift through a lot of crap.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
To,
sure.
which is why when I just randomly come across a movie that isn't crap, it's a really pleasant surprise for me. But there's a lot of crap out there, and we should do a video that was like,
Yeah.
okay, here are the movies that like go
Yeah.
look at this movie. This is a 1 star movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually probably a good one for us to do would be like both of us come up with 5 6 movies that we consider to be like really truly bad without any, the movie has to have like no redeeming value to it. For
People will
whatever.
often reference the movie The Room. You
um
know the one I'm talking about. Lisa.
yes. See, I wouldn't put that in a 1 or 2 care.
No, no,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And
as
I'm
I
talking about
did
the
not enjoy it
original.
in any way, but in any way, but that even that is not a 1 or 2 star movie.
Oh, it's a lot to me. That's a lot of fun. That movie's a lot of fun. And
I would personally rate that around a 3 or a 4 star.
yeah, see, I'd probably rate it higher because it gave me so much enjoyment.
But no, there are movies that like because I see these reviews, I'm like, I don't think you've ever seen a 1 star movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. It's because I definitely have, and to tell you the truth, I probably would surprise some people with a couple of 1 or 2. I would rate I would rate The Room higher than I would rate a couple of movies that I'm not going to name now. I'll
Mhm.
save it for I'll save it for when we do that show. But that is a good idea for a future show. We should do it. Um, and it would be actually interesting to see what your idea of a 1 or 2 star movie and what my idea of a 1 or 2 star movie would be, and probably would both surprise each other with some of
We
our
might.
conclusions. Yeah,
But
but
at this point, we've strayed far enough from the original movie that maybe our talk about this is nearing its end. But again, I will say 2 thumbs up. If you're looking for lighthearted fun, you can't go wrong with the Heat.
no, no, and I will say the exact same thing to our listening audience. If you're still hanging in here with us, um, we definitely appreciate you watching. For one thing, please leave a
Yeah,
like and
because we're probably a
subscribe.
1 star
Yeah,
channel.
yeah, but yeah, our 1 star channel. Um, but no, please, we do appreciate your support. We certainly need it. And but as far as the movie itself goes, if you haven't seen it, I would say, depending on what if you've got high standards for comedies, if you only want like really highbrow comedy, then don't watch this because it's not that. It's more along
No,
the
this
line
wall is in
of,
the gutter a bit.
yeah, it's there's some foul mouth humor in it and everything. But it's a lot of fun if you're not somebody that's real tight, and you're not somebody that can't loosen up. It's a good fun movie. I mean, if you're looking for something light for a weekend watch, this is it. It will definitely make you laugh in places. If it doesn't make you laugh all the way through it, it's going to make you laugh in places. And for me, it made me laugh in more than one place. I can tell you right now. When I watch a movie alone and I'm laughing by myself out loud, I that's when I know I'm enjoying a movie. So that's my take on this. It isn't perfect by any means, but it's not exactly a bad watch either. Step Brothers wasn't a perfect movie. I mean, come on,
No, no, but it was fun.
it was a lot of fun. I still enjoyed it, and it was there were moments in it where you're almost cringing, and then at the same time you're like, okay, that one really made me laugh. So like I said, this is that same kind of, if you can watch Step Brothers and laugh and not be all offended, then you can watch this one and not be all offended, and you'll have some laughs. So I put it in that kind of The Hangover, like
Hmm.
those type of those
No,
type of
I
movies.
still have never seen The Hangover.
Oh,
Any of
well,
them.
if I didn't have the pick that I've got right now to announce, I would pick that one just because you said that. But we'll have to put that high up on the list now.
Well, that being said, you choose next. What's your next choice?
Well, the and I was talking about documentaries before, and you have talked about them. We've both said that we wanted to do a documentary at some point. So just basketball season is, the once playoff starts coming around, and but I've been watching a lot of clips, like old clips, and you and I both grew up during
Mhm.
the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson years, the great the great Celtic Laker rivalry.
The Celtic dynasty.
Oh my God, it was so much fun watching that East Coast West Coast. Every year it seemed like the Celtics and the Lakers were going to get into the playoffs. It was so much fun, and you had teams. You had one team that was very flashy, fast break. Yet on the with the Celtics, you had the kind of a half court team that would just try to slow the play down. They played totally different styles of basketball, and both Magic and Bird, they both came out of college at the same time. So I'm going through this whole thing, but the documentary that I picked, and it's going to be a little bit of a departure because it's a sports documentary, and so hopefully we can get people to watch this one. It's available in different places, but it's the documentary is Magic and Bird, a courtship of rivalries, and of rivals, not rivalries. But it's kind of a pretty cool. I haven't seen the whole documentary myself. I've only seen parts of it, but I know enough about Bird and Magic, and those two have a very special friendship and relationship. That even though they were complete rivals on the court, and they both, I mean, they were saying it uh, on a talk show appearance, but they were saying that like Bird looked at Magic and he said, "I still want to beat you." He goes, "If we were playing checkers, I'd want to beat you." He goes, "I wish there was something we could play right now that I could beat you at," and they still have that same feeling, but they're good friends too. And it's like I said, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, check it out before we talk about it, because next week that's my pick, and hopefully we hopefully we both enjoy the documentary. I don't see how we wouldn't, but
I don't see how we wouldn't.
yeah,
And when I do my short next week, I'll try and have, if I can find that documentary on a free site, I'll try and give some platforms that people can watch that on.
I expect next week that when you do the short, you're going to be all suited up and yeah, yeah, shooting baskets and dribbling all over the court and
And
everything.
I
So
haven't handled a basketball in
I was just going to
decades.
say it's been a few years for me. so, so but yeah, no, yeah, and yet that's another thing is there are a lot of cool links that you could probably add to this one too. But hopefully everybody enjoys. It's a little bit of a departure, but
We
I think
said we are going to watch every sort of movie.
yeah, yep, and some that will be some will be repeated many times. But documentaries, I love them, and
Mhm.
I love a good documentary. So that's my pick. I'm sticking to it. So yeah, and Dom, it was a lot of fun as it always is.
Always.
So yeah, this was a good pick. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So thanks for bringing it to us. I think probably everybody that gives us one a chance, if unless you're somebody that really can't handle silly, crazy humor, um,
Yeah,
then
I mean it's
maybe
just it's a fun comedy.
yeah. So yeah, if you like movies like that, it's which again, who doesn't like a good comedy like this? Once in a while you have to do something that's kind of lighthearted. So so yeah, this was a good watch, Dom. Thanks again, and thank you guys for listening along with us. And hey, we'll see you next week.
See y'all.
Take care.